The Land Rover Freelander always comes out on top in comparative tests. What about a duel against time? The first-generation Land Rover Freelander, produced since 1997, was a controversial phenomenon. On the one hand, a crossover from a well-known manufacturer, with good handling and cross-country ability, with an electronic hill descent assistance system that was innovative at that time. On the other hand, a weak base engine and low reliability. But the model had its fans, and they were enthusiastic about the appearance of the second generation of the model in 2007. While retaining its recognizable features, the clamshell hood and basic geometry, the Freelander II has been qualitatively changed in every way. The body has become more masculine, the new engines have decent performance, the ground clearance has increased, the handling has improved, the ride and comfort levels have increased. Finally, the interior has become more spacious, and most of the components and assemblies are more reliable. And the market immediately reacted to this with an increase in sales. Of all the configurations, the most affordable and popular is the one with the diesel engine. The engine is 4-cylinder, with a working volume of 2.2 liters, and a power of 160 liters. With the maximum torque of 400 Newton meters is already reached at 2000 RPM, which allows you to overcome obstacles with tension. During operation, the engine emits a quiet, well-fed roar, almost inaudible in the cabin. It is responsive and economical in motion. The average consumption is 7.5 liters of fuel per 100 kilometers. The failure statistics for diesels are mainly related to their sensitivity to the quality of winter diesel fuel. Stories with engines that did not start in the morning after a sharp cold snap, alas, are not isolated. In such a situation, it is recommended to warm the car in a warm box and fill in the fuel corresponding to the temperature. On early Freelander IIs, there were many cases of destruction of the exhaust camshaft. This is due to the design features of the camshaft and a broken timing belt. The shaft was replaced under warranty, and it's worth taking a car that has already passed this procedure. Eliminating this breakdown at your own expense will require 14,500 rubles. Only for the camshaft, and with replacement work and related spare parts, the bill can be 75 to 100,000 rubles. Statistics indicate that the problem affects cars from 2007 to 2008 with high mileage and occurs with a sharp increase in load. And, of course, with every MOT, you should definitely pay attention to the condition of the timing belt. Also in winter, especially with sudden temperature changes, failures of fuel injectors were noted. The original costs about 34,000 rubles, factory restored, 23,000 rubles, and Bosch, 20,000 rubles. However, the manufacturer's replacement of the fuel line with a version with a lower pressure valve has virtually eliminated such appeals. Nevertheless, experts advise reducing the service interval for 2-1 oil and fluid changes to 10,000 kilometers, and change the fuel filter before winter, regardless of the mileage. After all of the above, a reasonable question arises: what about petrol versions? Yes, there were, although there are few of them on the secondary market. Volvo's i6 petrol 6-cylinder power plant is compact, with a displacement of 3.2 liters and a maximum output of 233 horsepower. Claimed fuel consumption is 15 L/100 km. At speeds of 140 to 170 km/h, the consumption increases to 18 to 20 liters. In addition to mandatory scheduled maintenance, there are no significant costs for this engine. Perhaps it is worth noting the sensitivity of the fuel system to high summer temperatures. In extreme heat, there have been cases of fuel pump failure, especially when the tank is empty. In order to avoid fuel pump failures, a new one costs 7,500 rubles. You should make sure that in hot weather there is at least half of the fuel in the tank. With a diesel engine, 2 gearboxes were offered, manual transmission 6 and automatic transmission 6, with gasoline, only automatic. There were no statistically significant defects in the manual transmission, despite a significant number of cars sold with it. As for the automatic, it works fine even in off-road conditions. However, on cars manufactured in 2007, there were cases of uneven switching. In this regard, Action Q059 was launched in 2008. When visiting a service station, the box was changed regardless of the presence of signs of a malfunction. The promotion ended in July 2010. The Freelander II transmission boasts a state-of-the-art solution invented by Land Rover, the terrain response electronic system that controls the degree of wheel slip and reaction to pressing the gas pedal. It is enough to select the desired mode, ruts, snow/gravel, rocks, sand, and the car adapts to the specified road conditions. True, in fact, sand is sand and snow is different, so sometimes you have to improvise with the choice of the terrain response mode. The system independently controls the fuel supply, interacts with the brakes and the Haldex clutch, which regulates the distribution of torque between the wheels depending on the degree of slip. The Haldex node has, perhaps, one weak point: the electronic control unit. It is located so that liquid dirt and road reagents get on it, which can lead to a breakdown and subsequent replacement of the unit, 27,300 rubles. Usually the replacement was made under warranty, but the new owner is not insured against repeated failures. What else? In connection with appeals about the rumble in the rear gearbox, the concern is carrying out an action to replace the set of rear gearbox bearings. If the warranty is over, spare parts, original, will cost 2,650 rubles, plus replacement work, from 5,000 rubles for unofficials to 13,000 rubles for an authorized service. Suspension is fully independent, long stroke, with anti-roll bar, RSC. Everything is done quite firmly, which, complete with the clearance of 210 millimeters, large entry and exit angles, 31 and 34 degrees, respectively, and terrain response, allows you to feel confident on rough terrain. Suspension and muffler parts are neatly arranged and do not protrude. How reliable is the suspension? It all depends on the mode of operation. Nevertheless, the replacement of the rear shock absorbers, 5,900 rubles per piece, due to their complete failure can be attributed to isolated cases. After 40 to 60,000 kilometers, you can find fault with the front, 600 rubles, and rear, 500 rubles plus 500 rubles for fasteners, stabilizer struts, rear lower arms, external steering tips. The inner steering tips change as an assembly with the rack, 21,000 rubles, but replacement cases are rare. Usually it is required after collisions and strong impacts on a high curb. The Freelander has a load-bearing, rigid body that fully meets modern safety standards. The interior trim is not too chic, but high quality and durable. As a rule, there are no scuffs or chips on it even with high runs. The cabin is spacious, the driver's seat is commander's, the chair has a lot of adjustments, wide armrests. Even tall passengers feel comfortable in the back seat, there is enough legroom there. Pleasant little things are also enough. For example, there is an illumination of the pedal block and an illumination of the front doors. The trunk has grown compared to the previous version to 755 liters, and with the rear seats folded down, up to 1670 liters. Its only negative is the high-lying floor, which has risen due to the spare wheel moving under it from the back door. Summing up, we conclude that the Land Rover Freelander II is a rather expensive but worth the money car, beautiful, stylish and quite reliable with proper care and regular maintenance. And although this car is more often seen in the parking lot of a trendy restaurant or flying along an asphalt highway, it is able to get its passengers out of most off-road troubles.